I'm Matt Stewart, a Melbourne comedian, and I've been road tripping up Central Australia, following the old telegraph and rail lines from Adelaide to Darwin. I've been following in the footsteps of John McDougall Stewart, a Scottish-born surveyor and explorer who completed the crossing back in 1862. You'd have to admit his journey had a lot fewer pit stops into iconic hotels and pubs. So in many ways, my journey is even more ambitious.
That's ugly, but it'll play.
This is the Beer Pioneer. Just to get you up to speed, we've driven over 2,500 kilometres from Adelaide and we've landed in Mataranka. Last night, we met the best whip cracker in the land. Later on, I'll be checking out a Boxing Croc and one of the most remote bush breweries we've ever seen. But today, it's time to slow down and get a little bit of R&R.
So we're here at the Mataranka homestead in the Elsey National Park, and I've got in early for breakfast. As you can see, we beat the crowd. This place gets absolutely packed out later in the day, but I'm loving it here. You know, you can feel the history of the place. It's a beautiful national park on the one hand, but also just so much history at the homestead here. You see the mural up above the bar, Maluka's bar there. You can only wonder, who was this genie, and by the same token, who's this Dunny guy? You can only assume they're both fantastic people deserving of their spots up on the wall. Anyway, I'm going to tuck in. Cheers.
First things first, I have to see the most famous attraction of Mataranka, the thermal springs in Elsey National Park. These pools stay at a warm temperature of 34 degrees Celsius all year round.
Wow, this isn't natural. How do they get that colour? So we're at the Mataranka Thermal Hot Springs, and yeah, it's quite incredible. I can't believe the colour of it. I thought maybe it was somehow tiled or something at the bottom, but that's just the natural blue colour of the water. And I'm going to have a quick dip. I've taped up the fresh tat, because apparently I shouldn't be getting that submerged at the moment. Apologies for my tan. That will be intimidating to some viewers, but yeah, I'm going to get in and have a little dip. Apparently he's got healing powers, these waters.
I thought that then, but I'm not so sure anymore. I drank litres of the stuff, and if anything, I felt considerably worse.
Is the bag holding up?
No, Matt, it was not holding up. After the morning dip, it's time to hit the road again. Today's destination, Adelaide River. It's about 3 hours north, with a stop in at Katherine along the way. Well, this shot probably ruins the illusion that I've been sleeping in the van. Of course not, that's just for the crew. Instead, I'm staying in these luxurious hotels.
The beautiful thing about this van is it's got quite a decent sized walk-in robe. Kind of confusingly, there's a toilet and shower in there as well. So we're deep into the journey now, and we're only working with a very small crew. There's only 4 human members, but I like to think of this old gal as the 5th and maybe most important member. Sure, she doesn't have a beating human heart, but she does have a big old V8 under the hood. We're still working on a name. Maybe the most popular 2 options are Camper Van of Green Gables and Jean-Claude Camper Van Dam. We're not sure which. I'm getting a shake of the head from out the back. I don't know, shaking at all of them, or do you have a preference there?
I'm afraid that's how it usually went. I'd spit out the gold and get nothing back for it. Anyway, time to have a little look around before we kick on up the highway. Mataranka means home of the snake in the local language of the Yangmanik people, the town becoming official once the rail line finally reached it in 1928.
So this is Jeannie Gunn, who we saw at the mural at the Mataranka homestead. She's the author of the great Australian classic novel, We of the Never Never, which is about Elsey Station in the 1890s. That's cool.
Jeannie was the first European woman to settle the area, and her account went on to become a staple of classic Australian literature. Before we leave the town, it's time for our daily ritual, and as usual, it's a shock to the senses every time. Well, you know what they say, when you drive a big rig, prepare to pay a big petrol bill. All right, let's hit that open road once again.
So there we go. We're Tennant Creek to the left, Katherine to the right. That's right in the middle of where we're at as well. We're heading from Tennant Creek to Katherine. We've had a nice stop at the Mataranka homestead. Had a lovely time there. Enjoyed the fine work of Nathan Whippy Griggs last night. Absolutely whipped up a storm. And we had a really good time. I've got that whipping fever now. I'm gonna take the whips back to Melbourne and get cracking as soon as I can. I feel a new life awaiting in the whip game.
Mataranka marks the beginning of Croc country, the northern tropical area of Australia inhabited by both fresh and saltwater crocodiles. Sightings around here are not too common, but something tells me I might meet a few later in the trip. Look at this guy. He doesn't care about crocs.
Big one, top one. So we've just started seeing these in the last couple of days. Not the crocodiles themselves, but the signs. Hopefully we'll get to see. Hopefully we'll get to see some soon. Maybe not super up close, but love to see one from a distance. You know, the kind of distance you have to squint to see. I think there's a crocodile, that sort of thing. I don't want to be like, oh, there's a crocodile. Just more like, hey, there's a crocodile. Can't get over the colour of this water. What do you reckon? Turquoise? I don't have a great colour vocabulary. It's blue. It's like a nice, a greeny blue. When I was a boy, Mum used to say blue and green should never be seen. Well, I disagree when I look out at these beautiful bluey green waters of the Bitters Springs.
I can only imagine the relief John McDougall Stewart would have felt when his party reached springs such as these. Although, also probably the terror they would have felt after seeing their first crocodiles. Lucky my tan helps me blend into the surrounds, so I don't think the crocodiles would even see me if they wanted to.
Gee, since leaving Tennant Creek, it's been a pretty quick change of scenery. The trees are getting taller. We're really getting a tropical territory now. It's just getting a lot greener. The dirt is still dry and red and dusty, but we're getting much bigger gum trees and other sorts of trees. And
sorry to get technical about the trees there. Next up, we're passing through Katherine, the third largest town in the Northern Territory after Darwin and Alice Springs. There are plenty of scenic offerings nearby, so I'm going to check out the famous gorge. We may be in the middle of winter, but up here the daily average temperature is still 29 degrees Celsius.
ah, shit.
I love doing this show, but they do make me walk up a lot of things. Oh, go walk up to the top of that. We want to film you walking up that. Is it really necessary? Well, in the end, it isn't nearly always worth it. Beautiful views. Mate, that is bloody beautiful. It was a quick hike. I think that'll do for the day. Time for a pub. So we're leaving Katherine and driving another few hours north.
Geez, it's the further north we go, the more humid it gets, and I don't know if you can tell, but the beard is frizzing up. But yeah, you could feel it. It's sticky from morning to night, but I'm loving it. I'm loving having to swim through the air. You know, you can't just walk around up here. I'm doing breaststroke down the hallway at the hotel. It feels good. A lot more incidental exercise than you probably get in the southern states.
Geez, we're making good time. This might even be the first day of the entire trip that we get to our destination before nightfall. We're just 114 kilometres south of Darwin now, and we've hit the Adelaide River. It's lush and green, and the pub is open. It's kind of what I imagined the Garden of Eden would have looked like. More footage of me walking. Look at me go. tell you what, this is the frickin' life. I am a lucky boy. No doubt about that. Ordering dinner before the kitchen closes is the main priority. Then it's into the pub to have a look around. Adelaide River played a central role in the defence of Australia against Japan in the Second World War, serving as a rest area for personnel and a tactical supply and communications base for Darwin. The 303 bar takes its name from the 303 rifle, weapon of choice by the Australian Army in World War II. The town itself was bombed in Japan's final attack on the mainland on the 12th of November 1943, almost 8 months after the first raid on Darwin. On a lighter note, the pub was home to Charlie the Buffalo, made famous in Crocodile Dundee. He still lives here in a less lifelike form.
My idea of a balanced diet is beer and meat jam. That's good fun. I used to have that painting at home when I was a kid. Genuine Croc heads. It's $195 a piece, if you don't mind.
This here is Jock the Croc. Before he was stuffed and put in this box, he was harassing locals and biting motors at the boat ramp. There are estimated to be up to 100,000 saltwater crocodiles in the Northern Territory. I guess old Jock serves as a warning to the others. Be naughty and you'll end up having to live in the pub forever. Actually, it doesn't sound so bad when I put it like that. We're at the Adelaide Hills Inn in...
Adelaide River.
Adelaide Hills. Where's Adelaide Hills?
In Adelaide.
Okay. We're at the Adelaide River Inn, not in the Adelaide River, and you can probably tell that because we're not wet. I'm only joking around, of course. We're here to have a great time, a meal and a beer. I've ordered the burger. The option of pineapple was offered. I accepted. I ain't no fool. And I'm about to enjoy, so thank you so much for listening to me. Ripper Dipper. It was around that point the crew realised I needed a bit of a break. I was clearly losing my mind.
He is the beer pioneer.
After a night in Adelaide River, we're heading an hour north to Humpty Doo, a name which has been ringing in my head ever since meeting Ted Egan back in Alice Springs.
Humpty Doo digger.
That's so great. We're about to arrive at Humpty Doo, home of the Boxing Crocodile. I think Australia's got a kind of iconic mascot for some reason, the boxing kangaroo. People forget crocodiles box too. They're not as good at boxers, but there is one statue bringing to light the plight of the boxing croc right in Humpty Doo, just outside of Darwin. Home of the saying that we were taught by Ted Egan, Humpty Doo digger. I assume that might just be a wild coincidence, of course. Yeah, we're gonna have a little liquid breakfast now at the Humpty Doo Hotel. If you ever do find yourself in a boxing ring taking on a croc, you'll be glad the no biting rules involved. And they got such funny little arms that you really do have a pretty good advantage.
Cheers.
I'm catching up with a publican who came up here from Melbourne to check out the pub scene.
So I came up here, had a look at a pub in town, and while we were waiting for paperwork to be done, this came up for sale. So before I got into the one I came for, I bought this one.
Wow, and you see you sort of just lucked into an iconic pub.
Yeah, I did. It wasn't so iconic then. It was an old pub out in the bush. It's like, it's just...
When did you move up?
I've been here in this pub for 35 years.
Right, so you took it from an old pub and now it's sort of like a famous...
Yeah, I didn't change much, as you can see. So we just did some refrigeration, back of house stuff, these old tables. You know, we didn't do a lot because if you change it, it's not going to work.
Yeah. Do you know what the story is with the crocodile, the boxing crocodile down the road?
That's just from the bush shop. Old Pete put that up years ago.
Yeah.
So I suppose you got to have something. It's like a pineapple, banana, so we do a crocodile.
Crocodile chucked some gloves on it.
Yeah, boxing croc. Yeah, a lot of the tourists love it. They sit there, take a photo, then they come up and take photos to this hotel.
Yeah. So you're a bit different to Melbourne. We're from Melbourne as well.
Yeah,
so obviously,
no collar and tie now.
Yeah.
I've had to do that to go to work down there.
Right. So it's a bit more casual.
Yeah, that's good.
You ever see yourself going back?
No, that's it. I'm here.
It's winter time. Isn't that hard to get your head around that?
No, yeah. My brother, I said, if I want to be cold, mate, I'll just go stand in the fridge. And the fridge is probably warmer than Victoria.
Better back home, the Roadhouse pub. Every town's got one. In Victoria, you're more likely to see a petrol station with a big American fast food chain, but up here, there's a petrol station, but instead it's attached to an independent pub. And they've all got these unique characteristics, different taxidermied animals on the walls, and oodles of charm. It's freaking oozing out their ears, the charm up here in these Roadhouse pubs. Yeah, they call them Roadhouse pubs, but when I see one on the horizon, I'm thinking that's more like a road home pub to me. I might not have met the barkeep before, but he already feels like my dad. And some of them are younger than me. Doesn't matter. It's still like going home to dad.
Geez, they do feel like home. But if they're lacking something, it's craft beer. So, we're off to find some now. From Humpty Doo, we're taking a slight deviation from the highway north and heading 30 minutes towards Kakadu National Park to a brewery in the bush. We're crossing the croc-infested waters of the mighty Adelaide River, which flows north to the coast, John McDougall Stewart's final destination. Seems an unlikely place to find our first craft brewery in over 1,500 k's. It's not your usual brewery out here. The Purple Mango Café gives new meaning to the term microbrewery, and it's looking like a great spot to just chill out, slow things down, and see out the rest of the day. It's been a fair while since our last brewery back in Alice Springs, so I'm pretty excited to find one out here. Craft breweries are a relatively new phenomenon in the Northern Territory. I'm catching up with owner Adam, who moved here from Canberra to find out how it came about.
I moved up here to take a job with Coca-Cola, and after spending a year in the suburbs, went for a drive around, found a for sale sign on the side of the road, thought I'd come in and have a look.
Wow.
And that was that.
So it's a spontaneous...
Yep.
You came on the day,
Yeah.
basically? Wow.
Yep.
That's pretty
Yeah.
fun.
We were looking at weekender properties, so we were looking at the property next door. It was for sale, so once we went through that and had a look, driving back out, saw there was a sign here.
And purple mango is a real fruit.
Purple mango is a real fruit. It actually exists.
I don't know why I didn't know that.
So it'll literally be that tree behind there with the low fork on the bottom.
Right.
That's the purple mango tree.
Isn't it beautiful?
Yeah. So they from the second they start to grow, you see the mango. They've got a slight shade of purple, and then as they grow bigger, they're purple on skinned. They're not purple fleshed or anything. It's still just a normal mango.
Right.
And then they go, and then they ripen into a nice dark purple, and they look at their best right before the end. Yeah.
So cool. I mean, you're living in a little slice of paradise here.
Yeah, it's beautiful out here.
Feels like a common story for people from the southern states. They'll come up for a year or 6 months and never leave the Northern Territory.
I think a lot of people that live in the Territory aren't from the Territory. You just get to love it. It's sort of a last bastion for a little bit of common sense and things that still go on here that probably don't happen in the rest of the country. And I always tell people to come and visit up here. You never need pants, shoes, or a jumper if you don't want to.
I mean, this is the middle of winter.
Yeah.
And I'm sweating.
Yeah, it's hot. That's why most people up here wear dark clothes, though,
Oh,
so
yeah,
you can tell that you're a tourist.
Yeah. Do I look much like a tourist?
Yeah,
I don't know.
you got whites on. Nobody wears whites.
Okay, well that's why I reckon, I mean, this is merch I've been picking up on the way. They're all very quick to give you the white shirts.
That's what's left over.
Yeah, right. That makes a lot of sense.
For all this huge and vast amount of land, there's only 250,000 people in the Territory. So I'm from Canberra. Canberra's got more people than that.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. That's interesting.
Double. So just Darwin actually only has 150,000.
Yeah.
It is a capital city, but there's only 150,000.
Right.
I don't think that the greater populace knows how good a place Darwin is and what's available here. And not only is there nightlife and restaurants, there's breweries, there's just perfect weather.
Really, it's the two main seasons, isn't it?
Yeah,
The
wet and dry with a bit of a gap in between.
The build-up.
Bit of
I've
build-up.
been learning about the build-up. Never heard of the build-up before. It feels kind of like a day on the beers. You have the dry. That's the bit when you go into the brewery. Then the build-up is probably when your mate's gone to get the first shout. and then the rest is the wet season.
Rest is
I'm
the wet
just
season.
riffing on this
Yeah.
here, but I feel like there's something in
Yeah,
that.
yeah, I think you can see some logic in that, yeah.
The mango's not only the brand, but you also use mangoes in the beers.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, we're drinking one now.
So this wheat beer, it's our sort of stock wheat beer that's our base, and we sell it as a wheat beer in its own right, but then we do flavour it with real mango.
Before we head into the brewery, Adam's showing me around this little slice of paradise.
We'll take a little hook down here and I'll show you the purple mango tree. We sort of wander through the gardens. We've got a whole lot of other stuff that happens here. We've got pineapple bush, pineapple plantation, citrus trees, we've got lemon trees, mandarin, grapefruit, kumquats. So this is the purple mango tree. Unfortunately, it doesn't have any fruit on. You guys are about 4 weeks early. We've got flowers, but no fruit yet. Hopefully one day we'll have a whole orchard full of them.
Great.
So we have a dam on the property. And who we're looking for is our team mascots. So a little white one over there, that's Barbara the duck. And the big fella over in the water, that's our favourite team mascot, Boris the duck. So we
What
now
kind of duck is it?
He's a Muscovy.
Oh, Muscovy, yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I was thinking actually. Feels like you've merged multiple of my dreams into one. Having a property with a water hole,
Yeah,
you got a brewery on site.
not much left to be asking for, is there?
No.
And so we do have about 30 mango trees on the property, banana trees.
Banana trees.
Yeah, so that's the bananas. You'll see a good bunch in there, ready to come off actually. Jump on in.
Oh, wow. Have a look at that. This is paradise.
We're going
what is
all
this,
right,
the Garden
aren't
of
we?
Eden? What's going on
We're
here?
going all right. These will be the ginger plantations, so hopefully in 12 months we'll be self-sufficient with ginger.
All right, what is this? Better Homes and Gardens? As much as I love mangoes and bananas, I'm here for the beers.
He is the beer pioneer.
I'm at the Purple Mango Café, deep in the top end, and it's time to head inside to see how they brew out in the bush.
So this is obviously, we've got a little tiny brewery, so we've got to make the most out of our space. If you sort of see over here, that we used to use little 50-litre brew techs, so that's still in operation. So we still run with our two 50-litre Brewmeisters and just run small scale, but we finally started out on the big scale, and this is the equipment we've bought from Alice Springs.
Yep.
So we've got the big 500-litre Brewmeister from Alice Springs, which we've now pulled 2 batches out of, which I'm really proud of, and these are the 500-litre fermenters, or 600-litre fermenters. So we pulled the mid out of this one and the Belgian out of this one. We're that tight for space, we've actually got to use our third fermenter for cold water because we don't have a cold water, a cold liquor tank, and my cool room's really small. So yeah, pretty happy and pretty proud of where we've come to. Yeah, we feel like we're coming in the right direction to really get into our beer production.
When you were talking about where you started, I think some people watching would be like, oh, those numbers don't really mean anything to me, but when they see it, you really, they were just little,
we would use...
bought like glorified homebrew kits almost.
We would use a 50-litre fermenter and we would sit it under the air conditioner.
Amazing.
And that is how we started, and that's how I started. So we've moved a long way. We've got a long way to go again, but we've come a long way from that to that.
All right, let's wet our whistles. First up, a Belgian Pale Ale.
First one to come out of the fermenter that I brewed by myself. Our new gear from Alice Springs.
That's a lovely Belgian.
Second one's a Territory Mid, it's a lager style. So that was actually the first brew that we pulled out of the Alice Springs, but Kyle, the good man himself, came up and helped us get that one out, so we worked together.
Oh, we met Kyle. It feels like that's a thing with the brewing industry.
Yeah.
Everyone's up for helping out.
It seems to be. All the brewers understand that it's probably them against more the commercial side of things rather than them against each other. There's a big piece of the pie that we're trying to get off the bigger pie. We're not trying to get the little piece of pie for each other.
Yeah.
So.
Feels like you're right on the front end. You are a beer pioneer up here.
Well, we're trying to be, yeah. We don't want to be the same as everyone else, and we're in the early stages. Like I said, I didn't brew a drop of beer before I came here, so I've actually had to learn. So we've learned base skills, and then the next set of skills, and then more about cleaning and temperature control. And
this is lovely. You could sit down and have a session on this, obviously.
It's honestly my favourite beer at the moment. The flavours bang on. I can have a few extra and still drive. I can have a few more than that and still get up in the morning in relatively good condition, but it is quite tasty.
Mid-strength's big in the top end, isn't it?
Yeah, huge.
Like,
big because with this weather, you can just sit down and have 6 beers before you know it. And if we're feeding 5, 6, 7% beers out to customers,
Yeah, they're falling off their stools.
they're falling off the stools. Whereas I think if you go to the southern states, I've heard particularly Tasmania, they don't put much out less than 5%. Third one is galangal that we spoke about. So galangal, it's an Asian root vegetable. We dig it straight out of the ground. We bring it here, we mince it up, we ferment it up, make a fresh beer. You get a nice tropical flavour. It doesn't actually taste like galangal after it's been fermented.
Have you heard of any other beers?
I've never heard of it in my life. So you guys have been to more breweries than me. You might be able to tell me.
I've never heard of it.
It's an Asian root vegetable. It's galangal. It's traditionally used in tom yum soup. It's got a quite different flavour about it, but when the way we've fermented it and made it, it actually makes this nice tropically tasty drink. We do serve it on ice, and you just get this nice, refreshing, sit back, enjoy, 3.5%.
I don't think I've had a beer like this before.
Nah, I assume not. So the flavour's right. So
The galangal.
yeah, galangal. And
Yeah, there's like, it feels like there's like 3 or 4 flavours hit you at different times.
Yep. And it's pretty much all galangal. There's no,
That's all galangal.
pretty much. Yeah.
Jeez, what is this? Some sort of a magic food?
We might have a few bits up our sleeve, but not too much. And so then that's our ginger. So, like as I said, different. It's not an ethanol-based ginger. We actually ferment it, so it's not something that's easy to do in huge
Wow.
scale.
That's
Spicy.
all ginger.
Spicy, strong.
Yeah, I'm only just now realising that most ginger beers don't really smell like ginger.
They'll largely be ethanol-based, and that's okay. That's no problem. And they might have fresh ginger, real ginger in it for flavour.
Yeah.
We actually brew it, so
Yeah, this.
Yeah.
I love a sushi roll with a bit of
Yeah.
soy and ginger.
yeah,
And yeah,
that's what you get.
this is
Again, dig it out of the ground, mash it up fresh. That's why it's real strong, real gingery, real spicy. And our customers who have that, they say
lovely.
don't change it, don't make it sweet,
yes.
keep it like that.
Oh, that's so good. It's liquid ginger.
Again, we serve it on ice, just keep it nice and chilled, yeah.
Just like I think you're nice and chilled.
We try.
If I didn't have a couple of things I have to do back home, I don't
Yeah.
know if I'd catch the plane with the crew back. I love it up here. It's so great.
It's a good place to territory.
Before I go, do you mind if I have I might get a schooner of the ginger.
Let's do it. One
Cheers.
schooner. Cheers.
Found a perfect little corner here at the Purple Mango Brewery, and I've been delivered one of the signature dessert dishes here, a mango cheesecake, pairing very nicely with a ginger beer. Hope you've enjoyed this episode. I've certainly had a great time, and we'll catch you next time on The Beer Pioneer. Cheers. Wow. Oh my God.
Next time on The Beer Pioneer, I get excited about entering a city.
The choice of anything. You name a cuisine. Thai. Done.
I visit a brewery, of course,
If I lived in Darwin, this would be my regular for sure. I love it here.
That's great.
So cool.
but also a distillery where I'll whip up my own gin.
Does that sound good?
No.
Oh.